सॉरी मी परत शेअरिंग केलं का? आता what do I do? Okay. So well, we will be looking into documentation and best practices in documentation. So I was talking out as to what is documentation. Documentation to me is a love letter that you write to your future. If you're good today, you will love it tomorrow. If we are not good at it, we will have problems. So until unless you have a good document prepared, you cannot use it for future. It means that documentation is to be done for ourselves and not for anyone else. I have prepared a lesson plan. A lesson plan is for me. It is not for someone else. Why am I looking at it? So when I have prepared a lesson plan, I'm going to look and go ahead with it. Second, when I have a lesson plan, next year also I'm going to use it. And I may see as to what part is to be used in the same way. What were the problems that I had faced previously? In case I've written them down, it will give me a good idea that now I have to change it in this way. So documentation plays a very important role to all of us. So it is, let us go with something called as classical definition of documentation. Documentation is defined as the process of classifying and annotating text and related materials. The material provides an official information or evidence as a record. And here comes the word called evidence, a word called record. Now, here I wish to make a mention of three terms. Information, point number one. Point number two, evidence. And point number three, data. Information, data, and evidence or record. See, when I make a mention, we had 132 admissions in first year. 132 is the information. When I make a mention of which 132, and you give a list of 132 students, that becomes the data. Those who have gone through NAC, you have seen one thing. In the previous NAC cycle, you have seen they have asked you how many students, and then you have entered the number. Then they say fill up the data sheet, that is an Excel sheet, that is data. You filled up 132 list of 132 names. That is still data, that is not a proof. Now, why have they asked it to you in data? So that they can analyze the data. How can they analyze the data? The data is filled up in Excel sheet, so they can find out whether there are any duplicates. It's not about 132 students. When you're filling up the data of 5 years and for all the students, that number is a very big number. Whether there are duplicates, whether there is any other issue relating to students, that is what they are able to find out by giving the data. Data can be refined. So you can refine the data, and therefore the first data sheet is taken. You may have a student who had taken admission and then he left. But he's still in the list. But he has left. So here you are able to see data needs to be pure. Data needs to be made better. Data plays an important role. But data is based on information. Information comes first. Information is followed by data. and data is followed by evidence or record. If I said 132 students, I have a list of 132 students. It is signed by the principal. It is stamped by the college. These 132 students have been taken, are now our students of, of the college affiliated to the university. So university has also stamped it. University says, yes, they are our 132 students who are studying in XYZ college. That is where it becomes a record, it becomes an evidence, it becomes a proof. So when we are talking about documentation, documentation comes at three levels. Information, 132 students. Data, 132 students. Proof, 132 students. Signed by the principal, stamped by the college, accepted by the university. So here you are able to see documentation becomes very important. So it is a official information or an evidence or a record. You go to some particular office in government and you talk to them, you give them a letter, and they say we have accepted it. What will be our first reaction? We'll say you give a stamp on it and you sign it that you have received it. So that next time when I come and when I'm going to talk to you, I can say I have submitted this on so and so date. So this is where you're able to see a big difference comes into picture. So it is an evidence and documentation leads to evidence. Then we come to the next part. When we talk of Indian documentation and when we talk of college documentation, we find multiple methodologies of documentation. And what are those bad documentation techniques? One, no documentation. No documentation is the big documentation. नेकी कर दरिया में डाल, कुछ मत कर, कुछ किया तो भी लिखो मत. क्या फर्क पड़ता है, what difference it makes, etc., etc., etc. When we start talking this out, you are able to see no documentation. Then there is one more thing, आज नहीं कल, I will do it tomorrow. So the tomorrow concept, tomorrow never arrives. Then there is one big thing, I am a professor. It's not my job. Why me? Why me? Why should I document? You don't know I am a professor. I am the head of the department. I am a so and so big person. I will not do the documentation. And then comes, since you have asked me, so I am giving मुझे जो याद है, what I remember, I will write down data incorrectness. Furthermore, you asked me, I gave you, I will not sign. No signature, no accountabilities. Since you have asked me, so I have given you. Data is incorrect, proofs are illogical. And when you go for NAC, it becomes a big headache. How do I handle with this situation? You have asked me, so I have given you distorting facts. Anything. You write down anything and you hand over. Then comes something very bigger, and that is keeping it in a wrong name. Now, it's not about creating the document. You have created a good document, but where you kept it, I don't know. Now you are not able to find it. Previously, it was in the files. I remember one madam. We had one madam. I'm a retired teacher now. I asked that I am an IQAC coordinator, and so I said that now we will be collecting all the documents. After the practical got over, I went in my cabin. In the next cabin, she was sitting down on the floor. She was perspiring like anything. She said, you have done a big problem. I said, what did I do? I said, you asked me all the documents. Now I have to find them out. I said, why are you finding it? Didn't you keep it at place? Bole, no, I'm searching it out. She was a very popular teacher. She was a very loving teacher. But every time she created a document, she put it somewhere. So, keeping it in a wrong name, what did I do then, by the way? So bad preservation comes into picture, keeping in a wrong location in the computers now, using the technology without its knowledge. So the next year, what I did was, madam, in at a college level itself, I purchased folders, big ones, plastic folders, 50 rupees, 60 rupees, and I gave it one to each teacher. I said, keep all your documents, all the activity document that you do inside it. Just do one thing. Whatever document you do, whatever activity you do, take the document and keep it in that particular folder. At the end of the next year, she said, sir, documentation could be done very quickly because everything was kept in that folder. So just by keeping in the folder, all that she had to do was to rearrange the papers and submit the documents. So keeping it in a wrong location, keeping using technology without its use, this is called as the Jugaad concept. It affects us tremendously. Therefore, documentation plays a very important role. So when we are talking about documentation, we need to preserve the document properly. Now, why do we avoid documentation? Negligence. Let me tell you, we are the best documenters. If I ask you, do you have your 10th passing certificate? You will say it is here. If I ask you, do you have your 12th passing certificate? You'll say, yes, I have it. If I ask you whether you have your PhD completion certificate, oh, yes, I have it. If I ask you whether you have your property papers, yes, I have my property file kept properly. Did you pay the taxes? Yes, sir. This is the document of taxes. Did you pay your electricity bill? Yes, this is the bill paid. See, I have the document. So we are very good at documentation, but when it comes to college, we don't want to document because it doesn't affect us. Tomorrow, think if the management says, "Ki until and unless you show every paper, we are not going to release the salary," even that documentation would come into place. So it is primarily negligence in keeping the documentation. Second, we don't like to create a document. It's very boring. So we don't like to create the document, so we don't keep it. Furthermore, we don't know where we can use it, so we are unaware about its use and therefore we don't have it. Very often, the security of the document is unguaranteed. I kept it somewhere and then cleaning took place and then it was taken away and it went into the raddis. Then there can be laziness in creating the document, maintaining the document. Then, as I told you, there can be technological barriers. So, usko kaisa sambhale? So, I don't know. So, not knowing the method and having taboo about documentation, these are the reasons why we don't document. But then, what does a document do? I have been talking for 10 minutes. One, it records the past. Two, it states the current situation. How many admissions have taken place? How many admissions were there at this time last year? It helps us to predict the future. It helps us to plan for tomorrow. It helps you to create a good system. It regulates all inadequacies. You know when admission starts, how admission takes place, when admissions take place. When the flow of students is good, what do I need to do? I need to see to it that every admission is done. How do I know? I can know it from my documentation. It is a guarantee of availability of resources all the time. It tells us what, but it tells us what not, and therefore documentation plays an important role. In other words, documentation is the heart of organization, and therefore we need to document. So documentation is very important. Documentation improves productivity. Documentation will affect our admissions, attendance, record of assignments, evaluation, results. Everywhere documentation plays. And if you are documenting it well, you have a strong result to say. I remember this was at least 30 years ago. It had so happened that In the college I was working 35 years ago almost. In the college I was working, there were police who had come. The police came and then they said that we want to check your attendance. The principal called me. I was working in a college called Ferguson College in Pune. It's a very big college. They said, you had your lecture on this so and so day. I said, yes. Do you have your attendance? I said, yes, I have my attendance. The student, there was a complaint against the students. And the student said that I was in the college and he was in the college. And there was a police case against him saying that he had done so and so mischief at so and so place. And the proof that was needed was that my attendance register. So he was there in the college, he was there in the classroom, and therefore he could be saved. This is an extreme case, but documentation helps you in a tremendous way, and therefore documentation needs to be done very properly. There is one thing that I want to make a mention. We often talk about Europe, we talk about universities in Europe and how good they are. They are wonderful, they are very nice. We send our students there to teach, to learn. Do you know we do more work than that they do? We do more activities than they do. The only thing is that they document very well and we don't. And therefore, documentation plays a very important. So documentation will tell you percentage of admissions done. Document can tell you percentage of result. Document can tell you percentage of attendance. In simple words, achieving the goals becomes very easy if we have documented properly. Furthermore, documentation improves communication. It reduces confusion. If things are on paper, it makes a big difference. Very often, when the student used to come to me and say, "Sir, I was sick," I said, "Why were you? When were you sick?" "On so and so date." बोलते थे, "You write and give it to me." काय झालं? हं, थोडंसं हे झालं. Full screen आहे. When I make a mention saying that I have made a teaching plan, the academic calendar is already prepared. So the academic calendar will be looked by every teacher, by every student, and he will come to know that the examination dates are from 10 to 17. Now, if they are from 10 to 17, then in that case, the teacher will plan that whatever is taught in June and July will be there for the first internal examination, that is to start from 10th to 17th. So when the teacher is going to prepare his teaching plan is going to include internal examinations from 10th. Syllabus to be completed, chapter 1 and chapter 2 is going to be there first internal examination. So here you are able to see documentation improves communication. Because it has been documented in the academic calendar, therefore the teacher has prepared a teaching plan which is going to tell what syllabus is to be taken in the first internal, what is to be taken in the second internal, what is going to be there in the final at the end of the term. And therefore documentation improves communication. Documentation prevents legal complications. For example, prospectus mentions cancellation dates. For example, if an admission is done before 5th of June, 100% refund. Between 5th and 10th of June, 75% of refund. 11th to 15th of June, 20% of refund. 16 June के बाद में there is no refund. So if you're going to pay the fee and if you want to cancel it out, you need to be careful, otherwise forget. So here you are able to see your document is speaking out. Furthermore, it reduces the stress and boosts the morale. Activities become time bound. You know what is going to happen at what time. You prepare accordingly. Example, assignment submission on or before 25th of July. Declaration date done by 17th of July. You have declared it on 17th of July. That on or before 25th of July, the submission or the assignment that has been given to you is to be submitted. उसके बाद में 26 जुलाई को अगर बच्चा आता है, he comes on 26th of July, you will say, I will not accept it, I am so sorry. So here you are able to see how things work. So it makes all the students aware कि नहीं, last date is so and so. Documentation is a good training material. It helps you to plan better. So, example, planning in the first year timetable. The previous year is researched, and then again you can prepare a good timetable. What were the problems in the previous timetable? Only that are to be removed. So, it's a training material that you're able to see. Documentation promotes creativity, innovation, and decision making. For example, areas of expenses for internal examination led to conduct of online examinations. Now, internal examinations, there were some kind of, if there are some kind of expenses, you can have an internal examination online. We have a software. With the help of that software, we can conduct examinations. So then in that case, you can have an internal examination. On one side, you can have creative and innovative question papers. And on the other side, you can put a photo, you can put an image, you can do many more things. And on the other side, you can reduce copy cases to zero by this particular mechanism. So you're able to see documentation creates creativity, innovation, and decision making. Documentation reduces the risk and helps compliance. NAC has told us that the computer to student ratio should be 1:5 in the previous NAC cycle. So the management sees it, बोलते हैं हमको तो मालूम नहीं था, we had kept it 1:20. It means that we need to purchase more computers. So here you are able to see, because NAC has given it in writing. Therefore, in the second cycle, the ratio of computers, which was 1:20, has been changed to 1:5. And then that in that case, you have achieved the necessary marks in that area. So here you are able to see, management says why 1:5, we can make it 1:3. So the compliance has become further better. So we come to the most important part. Why is documentation important for IQAC now? Documentation is an advertisement of your work. You don't need to be mind reader. इसके मन में क्या चल रहा है? What is going on in his mind? Accordingly, I will behave. Whatever you do, write it down on paper. Whatever notice is to be taken out, take it out. Whatever needs to be done in so and so time, it has to be done in time. Otherwise, we said, I thought. You don't think. What you do, put it on paper. So operational ambiguity is cut down. We are going to look into one. We are actually going to solve one. I'm going to give you one activity sheet now, and we are going to solve it in a short while. So it becomes very nice for analysis. Analyzing the document becomes very easy. Tracking becomes tracking improvements becomes easier. Good documentation shows that you are a good professional organization, and therefore documentation plays an important. See how documentation is important. Now, something very important. I have been talking all this, but I did not tell you what is the feature of a good documentation. There are there are 7 points that we need to do with respect to documentation. Point number one: document should be complete and should have all the necessary details. Point number one. Point number two: it should be clear and self-explanatory. If I am reading it, I should not feel what is it he is telling. I am not able to get it. It should have a purpose. It should be purposeful. Point number three. It should serve the purpose. It should serve the exact purpose. Point number four. It should be accountable. Documentation always comes with responsibility. It should be done in time. It should be timely. The minute the activity is over, completely prepare it. Why that? When you are actually doing the activity, when you're preparing for it, keep on preparing the document. We'll actually look into it. You have prepared a document, it should be accessible to that person who wants it. If you are going to see it, you should be able to find it very quickly. So, accessible. And something very important, it should be distributed. I'm going to take one question of e-documentation later on. It should be distributed. It should be with the necessary department who has prepared it. It is prepared by the department and it is kept in the IQAC. Now department wants it and I don't know, I don't have the document. What will I do? I have to beg to IQAC. IQAC say, I don't know where I have kept it. Then it's fun. We don't want this. So the document should be with you. It should be with the necessary person. So if the document is prepared by the department, it should be with the department. This is the most important part. These are the 7 important features that you're able to see. It should be complete, it should be clear, it should be self-explanatory, it should be purposeful, it should be accountable, it should be timely, it should be accessible, it should be distributed. You can take the photograph of this particular slide. Now, let's go ahead. There are various types of documents. There can be policy documents. These include institutional policies. How should the admission policy be? How should be the library policy? How should be the research policy? So policies are one kind of documents. There can be a big planning which is called as institutional development plan, which needs to be prepared in a very different way. That's a kind of a document that is going to be used for 5 years. There can be a strategic plan for 1 year. There can be guidelines that outline the framework for how to work out things. For example, how the examination process needs to be. Then there can be procedural documents. How to go with the procedure? How should the admission procedure be? How should the examination procedure be? How should the grievance redressal system be? It is written down on paper. If there is a complaint, then the complaint will be taken online. That the complaint can be taken offline. If the complaint is there and the student is on the campus, he can phone on a number. The complaint just can be taken even with WhatsApp. Now, what is this? This is written down on paper by us. This is called as the standard operating procedure. Then there can be statutory documents, legal and regulated affiliation certificates, compliance reports, approval from governing bodies, and many such kind of. There can be academic documents, syllabus, academic calendar, record, teaching, learning activities, etc. So, variety of types of documents can be seen. There can be financial documents. IQAC conducts feedbacks and surveys. उसका analysis आता है. That analysis could be a document. There can be COPO mapping documents, outcome-based documents, which are very important and which the process we need to know. Every college needs to know. We help you in that also. We can conduct those courses also. evidence of achievement such as placement records, research publications, your result analysis, which has to be outcome based, based on Bloom's taxonomy, whether your question papers are set accordingly, whether your assessments have been done accordingly, whether COPO mapping has been done, they are outcome documents. And there can be many other documents which are called as supporting documents. You find a variety of documents which we do. And what are records? I have already told you what records. The records are the final document. They are the real document that we are talking about. They are maintained as evidence. The record is the evidence. I made a mention some time ago as to information, data, and record. So records are the ones that NAC checks. Records are the ones that are going to talk about. If I make a mention saying that I want to take I want to take a leave, you go to the principal. The principal says you give me you give me a submit the a letter for the leave. So you fill up the sheet and give it to him, and he doesn't sign, and you go on a leave. Will that be accepted? No, it will not be accepted because it is not a record. It has to come on the record that you have gone for the leave, you have submitted a leave application, that leave application has been accepted by the principal. The necessary arrangement that you have to do when you are not taking the lecture have been done, then it becomes a record. If it is not signed by you, it is not a record. If it is not signed by the principal, it is not a record. Someone who's going to take your lecture, if you have made a mention of it and he has not signed it, it's not a record. So here you are able to see record comes with proofs. So there are a variety of kinds of records. So there is something called as document versus a record. Any paper could be a document, but any paper cannot be a record. Record must give the evidence. Record comes as an evidence. And that is the reason why record becomes more important. So we have actually looked into records. Now, I had told you how NAC assesses a quantitative metric. For example, information. Look at this particular sheet. In 1819, there were 896 students. In 1920, there were 975 students. In 2021, there were 1020 students. In 2020, 21-22, there were 1301 students. In 22-23, there were 1498 students. It's almost doubling of the number of students. Now, this is information. But which students? The Excel sheet comes. And that Excel sheet makes a mention of the above mentioned students. That is where data comes into picture. And then what is the record? The document and the record. University enrollment number. Signature by the principal. Stamp by the university. That becomes a record. So these are the three levels at which the institution works, and this is the way by which even NAC checks out information, data, and record. Record is the final document. Record is also called as evidence. Evidence can be scrutinized for authenticity. When you go for when you are traveling by train, you have a ticket. Ticket is an evidence. You may say my birth is 12 number birth, but then in that case you don't have a ticket which says it is a 12 number birth. It will not be counted. So evidence counts. There can be a variety of types of evidences. Formal, for example, teacher approvals from the university. It's a formal approval. It's a kind of an evidence. Statistical evidence, year-wise student growth in the college. It's a statistical evidence. There can be empirical evidence, program objectives and placements. There can be a statistical evidence. There can be a testimonial evidence. Yes, this student is working, he has studied in my college. A testimonial has been given which is going to be sent to the foreign university. You can have scientific evidence. You can have process evidence, teaching learning process, you write down the process. You can have an MOU, which is a documentary evidence. You can have a physical evidence. This is the place where we teach. This college, you have taken the geotagged photo, it's a physical evidence. And there are some self-supported evidences. You have conducted an extracurricular activity. You have taken the students in the community. The students have gone over there. They have worked over there. Then in that case, you have prepared the document. You have submitted the document. It is signed by the principal. It is a self-supported evidence. So you find multiple types of evidences, and therefore we need to look into what kind of evidence is needed. Accordingly, that type of evidence will be created. Now let us take one example. Okay, we will actually be giving you one sheet over here right now, and we will be looking into that particular sheet. PDF मला दाखवून द्या बरं. Please PDF दाख. ठीक आहे. Yes. प्रेझेंटेबल प्रेझेंटेशन मोड वरती मोठा करायचा. या थोडं मोठा करशील. स्क्रोल करताना नाही करत जाईल. ओके, स्क्रोल होते. Yeah. Now all of you please pay attention. I have a activity sheet. Assume so that you have done one activity. I want all of you to actually take a pen and paper. How do you create a document? We are actually going to create a document. I will request you to please take a paper. Please see this sheet. Activity report. You have conducted one activity. It could be a visit. It could be a guest lecture. It could be a tour. It could be a seminar competition. We do so many things. Teachers do. So then, in that case, how do you prepare your activity report? Let's look into it. So the way I tell you will be please following it out. Activity report for the academic year. Now it is going to be 25-26. Please write down 25-26. Or maybe 26-27. Is a dummy document that we have currently prepared. Now, an activity normally is done for a department or for a committee. So if you are doing it for the department, then keep the department, cut the committee. If you're doing it for a committee, for example, Women Empowerment Committee, then it is for committee. Department of Zoology, whatever the name is. Now we come to IQAC document number. Don't do anything, just write down IQAC document number and a dash. Let's go ahead. What is the title of the activity? Please write down the title of the activity. Guest lecture of Mr. Peeyush Pahade on the topic XYZ. Visit to so and so. Now, who is the coordinator? Write down your name, coordinator name. Day and date. Put today's day and date, for example. Venue. Where was that activity? You had taken the students to a zoological garden, so you can make a mention saying that Nehru Zoological Gardens at Kolkata. I'm sorry, at Hyderabad. Venue. It could be a guest lecture in hall number 101. Time was, let us say, 12:30 to 1:30, or it was a visit for 3 days. Then in that case, it was from 15th of November to 18th of November. Time can come in days, time can come in hours. Then comes number of participants. How many students were there? Please write down the name. 18 students were present. 180 students were present. Now, nature of activity, whether it was outdoor, whether it was indoor, whether it was online, the kind of activity that you have decided, please keep it there and write down. Then, what type of activity was it? Was it an academic activity? Was it a community-based activity that you went in the community? You talked to people. You did that activity in the community. You tried to sensitize the people in the community. Then that becomes an extension activity. Whether it was a student progression activity, you thought that I will conduct a session on soft skills. It is a student progression activity. How to write down a biodata. I mean to say how to write down a resume. It could be a student support activity. It could be an environment activity. It could be a gender activity. It could be a day celebration. It could be enrichment. For example, today is tea day. So I said, oh, it's a tea day. I was bringing awareness about tea in the minds of the young students. Enrichment, anything other than that, whatever you feel like, you can have it. There can be multiple ticks in this particular case. Then whether it was a scheduled activity or an unscheduled activity. A scheduled means if it is in the academic calendar, it's a scheduled activity. If it is not in the academic calendar, it's an unscheduled activity. It's absolutely okay. You can write down unscheduled also. You decided to conduct it today, you're conducting it today. Then whether it was funded by anybody or it was not funded by anybody. So it could be a self-sponsored activity, college spent it. Maybe there was no spending also. It was a self-sponsored, it could be an NGO-based activity, it could be an industry-based activity, it could be an exchange program, it could be anything. Whatever is there, you just write down. If you have spent money, if you have not spent money, the issue is not there. If you have spent money, amount. And if there was a chief guest, there may be chief guest, there may be no chief guest. If there was a chief guest, write down the name of the chief guest. If there was no chief guest, then there is no issue. If you have gone for a visit, then how can there be a chief guest? Now, furthermore, activity details. We have completed one component over here. Now we are going to the second component. Topic of the activity, subject of the activity. Please write down the topic of the subject of the activity. To bring awareness about so and so in this particular, and therefore this activity is being conducted. What were the objectives of that activity? Why did you want to do that activity? An objective comes before doing the activity. So please write down the objective. It could be in one or two sentences. Then how did you conduct that activity? Oh, it was a guest lecture. It was a visit. Methodology. And after the activity was over, what were the outcomes? The students became aware about the canal system and water purification in the water visit purification visit. The objective was students understand the mechanism. The outcomes are they have understood the mechanism, but they have also understood 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever thing you will like, you can write it down in the outcomes. Now, all this is very important primarily because this is going to be the first page of the document. What did I make a mention? Evidence plays an important role. So we have to add evidences to it. Now, how to do that? So there will be documentation that comes into picture. So this is the first page on which you are going to first write down what it is. This is a report that you are creating. And this documentation has begun much earlier. So how has it taken place? So let us look into how the documentation is going to be. This could be your documents. This is the first sheet to which these documents are going to be attached. So on this particular sheet that you have filled up, to which the documents are going to be attached. Now these documents could be three types of documents. Pre-event documents. Your documentation has begun before the activity has taken place. You have given a letter to your principal saying that please approve this activity, approval letter. The principal says the head of the department has not signed it. So you sign it on, take the signature from the head of the department. You have signed it, the head of the department has signed it, the principal has signed it. Approval letter. Assume so that you have invited a guest and so a guest speaker invitation. Then you have, before the activity has taken place, you have sent him a mail. That sir, we request you to kindly accept our invitation and be there for so and so activity. Then comes notice. You have sent a notice to the students that so and so activity is there, you be kindly present. Maybe you want some more people to come, so you have prepared a flyer and the flyer has been put up on the WhatsApp and on all our social media. Maybe it's a workshop, maybe it's some kind of activity that you're doing. So a pre-registration list may come into picture. So people have filled up 200 rupees and they have got registered. So you have a pre-registration list. Sometimes you have to give a budget sanction letter also that no, we are going to spend 2000 rupees on this. So college is requested to kindly sanction the budget and the principal has signed it sanctioned. So when you go with all the records later on, this letter is going to play an important role. Now these documents which are there even before the activity has taken place are called as the pre-registration pre-event documents. These are not the proofs, but they are directing the reader towards the proof. Then comes during the event documents. They are the event documents. The most important part is that when the activity was taking place, there is a signature attendance of the participants. What we don't do is what I am trying to tell you. I am a speaker. I have come to you. Let us say I have delivered a speech. The students or the teachers have attended it out. They have signed on the attendance. What we don't do is we don't take a counter signature of the chief guest. That becomes a solid document that this activity has taken place. So second activity is counter signature by the guest. Then comes second, high quality geotagged photos for accurate event tagging. Now, what does a geotag photo tell us? A geotag photo gives you one, the photo, two, the latitude and the longitude, three, the date, four, the time. These are the four things that a geotag photo gives you. The photo itself, the date, the time, and the geographical location. These are the four things that come in, but it doesn't tell who is the speaker. So what we need to do after doing this, we need to Photoshop it. That this data is there, but this lecture is given by Mr. Peeyush Pahade. Baki dates you don't need to give it. Peeyush Pahade on the topic importance of documentation, which you can always write down on the photos, and that is possible. So here, the name of the speaker has come. His topic has come in over there. The rest of the details have come in. This becomes your solid proof. So signature attendance countersigned by the chief guest, high quality geotag photos. These are two very strong documents. These days you also have small reels with date and all other things coming into picture. This could be the third very strong document coming in. Post-event documents. What is the proof that you have conducted the event? You give a feedback and feedback analysis. Every activity that you do, it must come with the feedback. Keep 4 or 5 questions. And see to it that there is at least one question which is called as an open-ended question. And into which you are going to ask him, what is different that has been asked? You will never ask, how was the program? You'll say it was very good. Means what? Means nothing. So you have to create a question. What is different that you got from this program? You're making the student think and write down. So you get different answers over here. And that makes your feedback better. Other questions can be objective, whether the sitting arrangement was good, whether the sound system was good, whether the speaker spoke well, where how was the whatever you want to say. Then comes certificate of appreciation. Maybe you have given certificates for that activity. It was a workshop, so you have given a certificate for appreciation. You have to prepare a report. This is an activity report that you are preparing, an event report. Something that we don't look into is something very important which NAC looks into, annual report making the mentioning the activity. So your department must make an annual report and see to it that that annual report is a part of the annual report of the college. Because I will give you one example over here. NAC in the last cycle had asked one of the colleges saying that whether these two activities were done by you. The college looked into all the documents, said हमने तो सारे we have given all the documents, why is it they are, why are they asking? So they called me and sir, they are asking so and so question. I said, okay, have you given this document? Have you given this document? They said yes, yes, yes. But then in that case, they are saying whether this activity has been done. I said we have all the proofs. Why they are not accepting? I said please look whether the annual report makes a mention of it. The annual report has made a did not make a mention of it, and those two activities were not counted, though they were done. So therefore, we have to be very careful about it. Nowadays, you have to see to it that it goes on publicity media also on social media. The new mechanism that NAC has come in, they are going on with blockchain technology, a completely different mechanism of assessment. I wish I get some time to talk on it and I can give you great details about it. So previously they used to check it physically, but now it won't take place. Every document will be read very carefully. There would be machine learning, there would be blockchain technology, there would be AI tools. Everything that you send is going to be counter checked with yourself only. So the document that you're going to submit, they are going to be internally checked with each other. So therefore, this way you can work it out. Now we come to something very important. I had talked about IQAC document number. Here also I had made a mention of IQAC document number. If you recollect, look at this in the title, IQAC document number. Now what is this IQAC document number that comes in? IQAC will give a number to the document. Now how will this document be? For example, of all the documents that have been submitted to IQAC, let us say 100 documents have been subjected, this is the first one to come. Who has given it? Mr. Peeyush Pahade has given it. What is his initial PMP? In which department is he? He is in zoology department. Which year is this? This is 25-26. So IQC document number will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then it could be 1 so and so, 2 could be something else, 3 could be something else, 4 could be something else, 5. The name of the person may change, or one person may have given 10 documents also. But then in that case, it would be 1 PMP, 2 PMP, 3 PMP, 4 CDC, 5 ABC, whatever it is. So this is the way documentation can be done. Now in the new NAC, it is going to be attribute number. So attribute name and attribute number will come in. And then departmental file, where this document is kept in which department. For example, activity file. Activity file has been done by zoology department also, by chemistry department also, by commerce department also, by microbiology department also, by history department also. Activity file is, let us say, file number 1. File number 1 of zoology, file number 1 of history, file number 1 of every department. So one number means activity file. Then comes department name, and then comes the year. So there can be 10 files of file number 1 in each department. But 1 means activity file. So the minute you say file number 1, it is activity file of the entire college. File number 1 are multiple, so they will be as per the departments. But you're creating a uniform filing mechanism for the entire college. Currently, I am dealing with some colleges who have a strength of 16,000 students with more than 26 departments. File number 1 is 1, which is so and so file. How does IQAC keep it? So IQAC keeps the data in which file? So for IQAC file number. After doing this, this is to be filled up by IQAC. So name of the teacher who has prepared this document, name of the head of the department or the committee, his signature, and IQAC coordinator seal and signature. This will be signed by the IQAC. This is what is submitted by the IQAC. This is the way things come in. Now, what is going to happen over here? When documentation is taking place, there are pre-event documents. There are during event documents. There are post-event documents. There can be photograph, geotag events, all these things. And there can be sometimes some supporting documents. For example, publicity material, invoice, bills, etc. in case you have it. This is the way you can document. So this documentation sheet plays a very important role. I'm sure you must have written down and you try to fill up this document. This document this is the most important kind of format that is very useful. This is being used extensively all over India. It has been prepared by me, and this helps you in during submission of the documents because it gives you a cover. This becomes a cover document under which all the documents can be attached. Now this is what I wanted to complete. This is where I have completed the session, but there are some questions that I wanted to take. So are there any actual questions coming in? Otherwise I will take those questions over. Participants who are here on this in Zoom, they can ask me a question directly if they have any questions. Participants, Atharva, please come. हा स्क्रीन बंद करायचा होता मला डायरेक्टली घ्यायचं सेशन. How can I stop this? Okay. Yeah, fine. Yes, please. Yes, Dr. Mani, yes, please ask your question first. I'm going to answer the other questions also later on. Dr. Mani, please unmute yourself. Please unmute, sir. Just 1 minute. Try to unmute yourself, sir.
Yes, sir. Just now it's unmuted, sir.
Yeah.
So thank you for your valuable information about the documentation.
Okay.
Nice information. Sir, I have a doubt. Currently, there are different teaching methods is there, sir. How we can make it into a document for the different teaching method, different teachers having different kind of teaching method. Already you said that this is the data, information, but we need evidence. So how it make the teaching method into evidence? The first question, sir.
Yeah, it's a very good question. Okay, I'll answer it. Now it will depend on which kind of teaching method are you dealing with. Let us go with a very simple, I'll take 1 or 2 simple methods first. For example, you're talking about chalk and board teaching method. Now it doesn't need any photograph. This is one thing for sure. But what is a strong document over there? See, it's not a document, it's not a method that NAC is asking for. I'm just trying to tell you. Your attendance is the biggest document. Point number 1. Attendance, where it makes a mention date, where you have taken the attendance of the student and you have written down what topic has been taught down at the bottom or at the top. This is one very simple document. What is the second document that comes in? It comes in as your teaching plan. I mean to say your lesson plan and your teaching plan. Now, what is the difference between a lesson plan? Lesson plan goes with the topic, whereas a teaching plan goes with the overall teaching pattern. See, when you have 30 lectures, the plan of 30 lectures is the teaching plan. The plan of the lesson that would go with what is the topic, how it is going to be taught, what teaching method is going to be used, what kind of assignments are going to be done, the COs that you have written down, all that would become a teaching, a lesson plan. Your lesson plan is your second strong document. Your teaching plan is your third strong document. So teaching plan, lesson plan are the three document that I'm making a mention. Attendance, lesson plan, teaching plan. These become your three very strong documents. This is one thing. Now, depending on which kind of teaching method have you used. Now, when you're talking about a teaching method, you have taken a visit, you have the proofs of visits. When you are going to visit a particular institution, see to it that you have sent a letter to that institution and they have accepted it. That acceptance is one way out. Second part is that please try to see to it that whether that institution can give you a letter saying that your students were very attentive, they have replied back. You can prepare and go over there. See to it that your students ask questions over there. This is one more way of it. So you have taken photos and they have responded. That becomes a strong document because it has been endorsed by the third party. So when does a proof become a good proof? It becomes a good proof when a third party is endorsing it out. Now there is one more kind. Now, for example, in the new NAC that has been proposed, there I wish I can take those sessions sometime. I would like actually they need to be taken in physically. They have made a mention. How will you do peer-to-peer learning? This is a teaching method that they have said, or they have made ask for a methodology called as self-learning. Now, what would I say if it's a self-learning? I will say I gave an assignment and the student wrote it down. But will they accept this document? No, they will not accept this document. Now you gave an assignment, everybody gives an assignment. Did they did the assignment? You even show the assignment. That is still not a proof. The real story in this particular case lies between you giving the assignment and they doing the assignment. You giving the assignment and they doing the assignment. So it means that after you have given the assignment, they had some problems. How did you solve them? So how did you prepare them? So it would mean that did you have a meeting with the students? Is it recorded? You gave 4 assignments to 4 groups. Did you call a meeting? Did you ask them whether they read and came? Did you provide any kind of support material? Did you give them the learning materials? So some material that has been provided. Now, if these things are going to come into place, then in that case, that document will be counted. So it will depend on what kind of teaching pedagogy are you talking about. Accordingly, the document will change. I have tried to answer, but until unless we talk about a specific teaching method, things won't change. I don't know if you're satisfied with it.
Yes, sir. One more question, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, right now the placement, one student get more number of offers.
Just 1 minute.
But
Just 1 minute. I will like to talk about this. Point number one. What goes wrong over here with this is what I like to share with you. When the company comes for a placement, smart students they go for multiple interviews. They get selected over there. They get multiple offers and they don't choose even one. And then in that case, the other students are at a loss. So point number one, you have one when you are going to when if you are into this placement cell, if you're taking care of placement cell, point number one, who are the students who are interested in placements? create a form first. They will get training. Others can come and sit for training. When the placements are to take place, at that time, if there is a pre-placement training, those students who have said that we want a placement, they should be given the chance. When placements are to take place, you have to keep a clause that you can attend not more than 3 interviews, because these smart students, they win every interview and they don't join anywhere. This affects our other students. Secondly, it affects our reputation also. So if he has appeared for 3 interviews and he has got selected in one interview, he will get an offer of one interview. If he has applied for 2 places, he will get two offer letters. He is to choose where he wants to go. Keep in mind, an offer letter is not a proof, because an offer letter doesn't tell that he has joined. Therefore, when you invite the companies, you have to put a clause to the companies that those students who have got selected, you will have to give us a document saying that these students had appeared, these students have got selected, they have joined. Because a student doesn't give the joining letter. Who has joined? You can get it from the company. It will come with a stamp from the company. That becomes a very authentic document. What we do is we allow students to go for it. The smart students get big advantage, and the average student don't get the big advantage. So they, because these students keep on going there, so the smart student keeps on getting selected, and then the average student starts losing on. Second party doesn't join, it affects the organization. So we need to look into these aspects very carefully. I hope I have tried to answer your question. Mani sir, is it answered? Okay. Yes, Dr. Mala.
Hello. Good evening,
Yes,
sir.
please.
This is Sunil.
Yes, please.
Sir, I am the IQAC coordinator and HOD of Department of Commerce. In my previous NAC visit, they have asked two different questions, sir. Our
Okay.
institution best practice is zero wastage or paper-free documentation. Okay. Now, being a best practice like this, how to document all those things in this other way around? That is the first question, sir. And the
Okay,
second
we'll
way,
answer your first question and then come to the second question.
yes, sir.
Number one, you can definitely go with paperless documentation, because since you made a mention of NAC has said that we will promote paperless documentation. But then how do you authenticate the document is perhaps your question. That is what I feel. Now,
Exactly, sir.
NAC has said that there are two methods that would come in. The first method is called as the class 3 signature. What you need to do is your principal signature can be prepared in a particular way. If you go to the on internet and say class 3 signature, there are multiple companies who prepare class 3 signature. Now, what is this mechanism? The principal will say that I wish to prepare my signature. The details will be given, that principal so and so college, etc., etc. When they go for this particular, it has a cost. 1200, 1300, 1500 rupees is what the company charge. The company says that you can sign 1 lakh times, and that sign gets encrypted. So the principal signs it. The principal has to sign it on the screen and it gets signed out. Then that signature is kept and the principal's photograph is there. And then there's a process. It's a very simple process. They call you once, twice, thrice. They give you an OTP. The principal signs it. The principal keeps the signature in front of him. The principal says, I am so and so. This is my signature, etc. Then they accept it and they send the signature to you. It could come on your mail or it could come on the pen drive. that signature can be used for 1 lakh times. So every time when you create a document and when you are preparing you have to prepare a PDF document and then paste that signature over there. Then that signature gets encrypted in the document and that document becomes a final document. You cannot change that document after that. This is the way you can do a authentic documentation. This is one way, but there is a second way that has come in. The same signature is now coming up with her in a new way, and that happens to be time bound signature. So there it comes with time, it comes with day, date, time when the signature has been done. And that has become a further more authentic signature. So these are the two signatures that can be done. The minute you put that stamp over their signature, it gets encrypted. It goes with day, date, and time. And then that document becomes an authentic document. So you can definitely authenticate the document in this way. That document can be stored on the either on the cloud or on the hard disk or wherever you want to store it. That document cannot change. So I have tried to answer your part one of the question. Now your part two of the question.
The second one is, who should be the placement officer, sir? Because in my previous NAC visit, they have questioned that industrial person should be there for the placement committee.
Are you from
Uh,
which colleges are you? Is it an engineering college?
no, sir, it is not a. It's a affiliated college, Bangalore University.
Number one, you don't need
Okay,
anyone from industry. It's a
okay.
arts, commerce, science college. What kind
It's a
of college?
commerce. It's commerce and computer application.
Number one, it need not anyone who is a teacher can be a, mm, a person into so and so. Say what do you say? Placement officer.
Placement officer.
Point number one. What is important? He should have a good connect with the industry. I'll give you something very fantastic. I'll give you an example. I have worked with a good number of DU colleges, Delhi University colleges. You will be surprised over there that in Delhi University, they have clubs. These clubs are maintained by the students. The students are the authorities. They are the ones who send the mails. They invite the companies. There is a teacher who's looking after. The teacher is looking after 20 clubs. One of it is placement. The placement coordinator is the student, and they take care of all the placements. So it is not that he has to be from the industry only. And especially if it is not an engineering college or a college that is related to the industry, how can someone from the industry be there? If it is there, someone from industry, that's great, but it is not necessary that someone from the industry has to be there. So it's an incorrect suggestion. They may at the most suggest that you can keep someone from the industry. But looking at arts, commerce, science colleges, uh, I don't think so they can pay so much of money to a person who's only taking care of the placement. So the teacher has to take care of these things. I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Anything else?
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I need a suggestion regarding that.
I request you to please tell me your name. I'm so and so. And from
My,
so and so college.
my name is Kanchanwala. I am for this I am working
I'm not able to hear you.
in Andhra. Hello.
Okay.
So my doubt is that how to document the survey forms from survey forms like employer survey, alumni survey, and all this. How to document this?
Okay, fine. That's great.
How
Point number one,
to
your survey itself is the first document. The format of the survey is the first document. that comes in. You have prepared a survey. Survey document is the first document, which will be signed by you, which will be signed by your principal.
Okay.
This is the first document. But this is not the only document.
Okay.
Second part would be
Okay.
the survey analysis. When you send a survey, let us say you have done a survey on Google with the help of a Google
Okay.
form. There is an Excel sheet that has come into picture. Now that
Correct.
Excel sheet comes with a date. That Excel sheet, if you look into, that comes with a date. That analysis that is coming is a very strong proof that comes in. The third part
Okay.
happens to be the at least 3 to 5 filled forms. They need to be attached with it.
Yeah, that is what we are taking the surveys from online only, because there would not be any signatures on that.
No,
We are
it is
not.
not expected. This is one thing. A
Ah,
signature is not expected over there.
okay.
3 or 4 forms that are filled up, you can just paste them. This is one thing.
Okay.
They can go in over there. This is one more part that comes in. This is the third document that comes in. The first one is the blank form. The second is the filled forms. This is the
Okay.
second part that comes in. The third is the Excel sheet, which has come as it is, which has
Uh,
been created, which gets created. The
okay.
fourth document happens to be the analysis, and the
Okay.
fifth one happens to be the primary analysis that you see and the conclusions that you have drawn. These are the 5 documents that are needed over.
Okay. Okay.
Now, once you
But
have come
employees
up with
have.
the conclusions, let me complete. Once you have come up with the conclusions, these conclusions need to be signed by the one who's conducting the survey,
Signed
the
to the.
principal. The survey would that document would be a PDF document, no?
Okay.
So that you have come to a
Okay.
conclusion. That conclusion will be signed. You have come to a conclusion. So you let us say you are conducting
Okay.
that. You have done that survey. So your signature would be coming as a conclusion signed by the authority. That is the principal. There your document becomes a complete document. Have you got the answer? Is it? Are you are you happy with the answer? Hello. Okay, fine. Any other doubt you have? I have a list over here. Paperless documentation, I think so I have answered it out. One nation, one data. This is a document that is coming up. There are some questions that have come to me. I'll just answer it out. One nation, one data. ONOD. This is in new NAC. This is coming up, or not new NAC. I'll say new accreditation. It is coming up. One nation, one. No, what is the big change that is coming up with accreditation? Please try to understand this. The big change is that previously your NAC report or your accreditation was done by a private agency called as NAAC, National Assessment and Accreditation Council. Now it is going to be done by the government. So previously you used to send AQAR and NAC used to say whether you have sent AQAR, that's okay. Now that will not happen. Now, instead of an AQR, there would be a document collection mechanism called as One Nation, One Data. You can find your college on One Nation, One Data right now. You cannot fill up the data, but you can see your college name over there. So you are able to see One Nation, One Data. It has certain kind of they have asked for certain kind of documents, records of the teacher, records of the students, etc. If you just send me a hi on WhatsApp and request for it, I can give you that's what is there in it. I can definitely help you out. So you have to fill up that data. Now that data can be filled all around the year. That data can be filled once in a year, but that data has to be filled every year. Once you have filled that data will remain with the government forever. That data can be used for NAC, that data can be used for AI, and say that can be used by AICT for NBA, that data will also be used for NIRF. It's a platform created by AICT. So that data will remain with the government. So when you go for accreditation and when you upload your data, it will be compared with that data first. That's the first thing that will happen. The minute you go for accreditation and you put all your documents for on the portal of accreditation, the first thing that will happen is it will be compared with the data that you have submitted every year to the government on One Nation One Data portal. Second part is that there will be over a period of time multiple portals. For example, UGC has created multiple portals. Now UGC is not going to be there, but these portals will remain. For example, there is a portal called eSamadhan portal on which you have to fill up all the data of the complaints. What kind of grievances have come on the have come to the college? So you need to have a strong, robust grievance redressal mechanism. You have to create a document of grievance redressal and you have to post it every year. So all these would slowly start merging out with this particular big document over a period of time. Not immediately today, but in a short period of time. UGC has come up with multiple portals. So these portals would get linked up. So all your data every year would keep on going on the government portal. And the mechanism of reading that is going to be, as I made a mention, it is going to be the machine learning, it is going to be the other technology platforms. So everything is going to be read. What is going to be read is going to be cross-matched. So you said you submitted this data. You said so many admissions have taken place in the year 25-26 and you are going for NAC in 27-28. Then in that case, what you submitted with the government is there. And the minute you upload it, it will say that there is a difference in the content. You have done an academic audit, your audit says that so many things have been done and your report says these have not been done. They would be cross matched. They will see your audit report either is correct or what you are uploading is wrong. A flag would get raised out. This is a big change that is coming in. The big change is that what you are submitting is now going directly to the government. And that is going to affect the institutions tremendously, because if your data is going to have big issues, then in that case, it can affect the institution. It can affect the institution, that the institution may not be allowed to work, or it may have to pay a heavy fine of 25 lakhs, 50 lakhs, or whatever it comes out. It could come out with, you're not, you have to take care. It could come up with that you go for accreditation next year, your accreditation is not accepted. It could be depending on what kind of data you are providing and how, what is the quality of the data. So your data needs to be very good now. This is a big thing that comes into picture. This was the question regarding One Nation, One Data, which I have tried to answer. I have answered about e-signing. Keep in mind, a physical sign is not allowed. Class 3 signature or time stamping is going to be very important. Please try to see to it that your institution goes for timestamp kind of document, so that the document becomes very authentic. Then, what are the most important aspects of documentation for NAC? Every document needs to be prepared that time itself. The, the document needs to have a good clarity. The document needs to be very clean. What is it that you want to tell should be there? What is it that is expected should be there? Don't leave loopholes. Please see to it that you don't create a bad document. I'll give you one example. When colleges go for activity to be conducted by NSS, a list is given, students sign it out. Now the list goes from here and the list goes from there also. There are 50 students and there are 70 signatures. One student has signed it twice. Now when the report is made, the report gets made for 70 students, whereas actual number of students is 50. When you fill up that data in, when you are going for NAC and when you have filled up that data for in the what do you say, Excel sheet, the 20 repeats will come in. And NAC will ask you, I mean, so the accrediting system will ask you whether there are 50 students or 70 students, and you will say, how can they say 50 or 70? Primarily, we have missed it out. So, the purity of the data counts the most now, which could be accepted previously, but now they won't accept this because everything is going to be read on machines. Your data is going to be read multiple times, hundreds of times. I wish sometimes I get a chance to talk on NAC. I will love to talk on new NAC mechanism to come in. So therefore, this is a big change that is coming in. Purity of the data, consistency of the data would play a very important role. Your document must speak what you are submitting. What are the common files I have actually told, the a common sheet that I have given? How should COPO attainment be documented? Now, this is a very long process. We conduct a workshop of 2 days. It's a physical workshop. If you wish to have, we really will like to take it. A teacher will be able to actually calculate, and because we say what you're teaching is what you are going to, is what we are going to analyze it out. But it's a long process. COPO process includes, in very brief to say, number one, you need to create, number one, if it's an arts, commerce, science college, you need to create your program outcomes. What are program outcomes? Program outcomes are the promises that are given by the institution. For example, my student will be a continuous learner. My student will be able to work in a community. My student will be environment conscious. My student will be able to solve the problems of the world, for example. This is not there in your syllabus, but this is what is being promised by the institution. These promises, which could be 5, 8, 10, 12, are called as the program outcomes. Now, what you teach, you have for a course, you are not going to write down more than 6 statements. These are called as course outcomes. These are based on Bloom's taxonomy. The third part happens to be when you are doing these 6 statements, there's something more. When you are setting up a question paper at that time, when you're setting a question paper, it is to be set up on Bloom's taxonomy, which is going to have these 6 levels. When the assessment takes place, every mark that the student has earned is going to go into whether it goes with course outcome 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the analysis is going to be done at which level student has understood, at which level the student has not understood. Course outcome level, these are levels, CO1, CO2, CO3, CO4, CO5. These happen to be remember, understand. See the levels, remember, dictate, remember. Okay. Understand what you have understood, that goes to level 2. Apply, application. The fourth level happens to be analyze. The fifth level happens to be evaluate. The sixth level happens to be create. So your question paper needs to have 6 levels that must reflect in the question paper. The student is not going to be given 6 levels. The questions are going to be of 6 level, and your format is going to have all the 6 levels are represented. Every mark that has been earned will be analyzed accordingly in Excel sheet. Then in that case, at what level the student is not able to understand, that we will be able to get. That is what we will be able to understand. Once that has been done, then your course outcomes are mapped with the program outcomes. That goes on your teaching pedagogy. So it's a long process. We will really love to, we conduct these workshops. These are 2-day workshops and they are hands-on 100% workshops. But it's a very long process. Telling it now will be a little difficult. But we can help you in this particular case. Then COPO attainment. How should MOUs be documented? MOU comes on a stamp paper. Point number 1. The question is MOU, how to MOUs be documented? MOUs come on a stamp paper. MOU comes with a specific purpose. MOU will be signed by the concerned authorities of that particular institution. MOU comes with a purpose. For example, you make a mention the MOU has been done between an industry and and your academic institution for, let us say, for internships, for placements, for XYZ, for trainings. So these are the three parameters every year. So far, if the MOU is for 3 years, every year something from this must be conducted. At least one lecture from the industry has been done. Someone from industry has come to the college and a lecture has been conducted. MOU is alive. Students visited the industry, MOU is alive. Placements have been done, MOU is alive. Internships have been offered and 10 students are doing the internship, MOU is alive. If MOU is alive, then every year, based on this MOU, these activities have been conducted, a document will be prepared, which will be jointly signed by that company and your principal. Then that document becomes a proper document. So this is what is expected out over here. Documentation of placement data is very difficult. Please guide us. I can help you. If you could just send me that what is the thing that you want, you can just use a WhatsApp. I have given you my number. I can again give you my number: 9922 99 again 5186. You can WhatsApp me. The minute I see it, I will reply it. Or that very day, your question will be replied for sure. That's my promise. If I am busy, the minute I am free, I look into it and I reply everything on WhatsApp. Though I am on Facebook, I rarely see Facebook or any other channels. You can reply me. You can ask me a question anytime. I will repeat the number again. My name is Peeyush Pahade, Peeyush, Phade. My number is 992299 again. That is 992299 5186. 992299 5186. My mail ID is Peeyush 20864 @gmail.com. Peeyush 20864 @gmail.com. You can go to IQAC Cluster website. You will find these details. You can see this logo over there, IQAC Cluster. It's the same logo over here that I have kept it. If you go on IQAC Cluster, www.iqaccluster.com, you will get my details also. You can communicate with me anytime, not an issue. I answer every question. No question is charged for it. Yeah. Any other question? We can take the last question and then we can perhaps stop. I tried to answer all the questions that I had received. Any other question that you have? There's one more thing. Any feedbacks that you wish to give? If you wish to give a feedback, you can give a feedback and then we can stop. I would love to have a feedback. I would appreciate a oral feedback coming into picture. You can come on the screen, you can talk. I would love it. Any questions? Any feedback? If there is no feedback, then we can stop. I hope you have liked the session. I hope you have enjoyed the session. I have tried to give you one format. We have multiple formats. When we conduct workshops, physical workshops, we give these formats and we see to it that it's a session for teachers, it's a session for IQC coordinators. Our workshops that go on for IQC coordinators and IQC teams, they are very engaging. It includes a lot of data centricity. what are the exact roles that an IQC coordinator has to play or IQC team has to play, and how you can work it out. We do give hands-on exercises. There are multiple forms, though it's a 2 day work. Normally our workshops are 2 days workshops, and they remain busy. Every IQC team remains busy for all the 6 hours. We conduct workshops for exclusively for IQSCs. You can have 10 IQSC colleges and we can conduct a workshop and they will be very busy. You can have exclusively workshops for administrative section where we conduct sessions how to fill up the data, how to check the purity of the data, what needs to be done. We have uh, teaching pedagogy sessions exclusively for teachers and all new pedagogies that are coming up. All those things that we do, we have done that, so we can definitely help you. We prefer physical sessions, and we promise that they will be very engaging. Only one speaker or two speakers are there. They would come to you, they will talk to you, they will engage you in details. We give a lot of material so that they refer it out. And this is where uh, I can stop. You are free to communicate me on WhatsApp. And thank you so much for patient listening. Okay, so can we stop? Yes. Thank you very much. And we can stop over here. Yeah. Bye.